Thank you. Before we start, I want to tell you that I have a 96-year-old father who landed on the beaches of Normandy during the invasion. He's in a wheelchair. And every time we have the pledge, he asks me to help him stand. He will stand no matter how ill he is. So if you guys are able to, please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And to lead us in the vote scene, the beloved rabbi. For those of you who don't know, the vote, you can have a seat. The vote scene is the prayer we say over the call of the bread for the JRA.
Bless you, Lord God, in the universe. Praise for the food. Baby say.
That's the best motion we've done.
We got to feed each other. Oh, spicy bread. I think it was from your fingers.
Welcome everybody. I'm so happy you're all here today, and we're thrilled to have Rabbi Bartley here to speak to us today. I want to thank my wife Judy for getting us all prepared today, and all our volunteers, and Judy's wife Stephanie, working so hard. It's Judy's wife Stephanie. We're that kind of a group, right? I'm honored that my 3 kids, conservative kids, are here today. Tracy. The good news is that Josh and Alan have turned 18, so they are now eligible to vote. Ready in November. Check the boxes. Vote early and vote often. But they're doing great at Moore Park College. In fact, my daughter Allie was working on a paper the other day, the case for ethical monotheism. And at 11:30 at night, she's asking me questions. And for some reason, I didn't have my hair cut yet, like I look so great today, but it was long and I was tired, and she said, "Dad, you look like a philosopher." But they're doing great, and I'm proud of all 3 of them. Yesterday, I was on a phone call with Alan Dershowitz. I was introduced to him through a JRA member, and she gave me a cell phone. I called him, and he is excited to speak to the JRA. Wow. We had a great conversation. We talked about this, Prager and Larry Elder in our group, and just a great guy. So we're trying to put that together, hopefully sooner than later. We're trying to do that maybe at the end of January if he's available. We were supposed to have actually Candace Owens speak to us today or yesterday, but we decided to postpone that to 2020. It would be more meaningful. So she will probably be on the calendar for us. I mean, she's already agreed to do it. That's going to be good. Another JRA member has connections with Newt Gingrich, so we're going to try to pull that off in 2020 if we can do it. Those are some of the names we're talking to. Also, Dennis Prager's producer has contacted me, and we really want to do this. He has his new movie coming out, No Safe Spaces, and we were able to preview that, and he wants us to do a private screening, like rent out a theater and have all our JRA members come and do it.
Bruce Mitch.
Oh. Maybe we can do that. We now have a venue. Thank you. So we have to work it out with them, but that will be really good. We saw the preview of the film, and it's really excellent. So don't run out to see it yet. Wait till we have our screening. Also on Sunday, we're going to see Donald Trump Jr. at the Reagan Library, and that should be fun. They got a lot of great events there, so I don't know how many people are going to that event. Anybody? And then I think in December we're going to see Nikki Haley. We're going to see her. But we are very blessed to have I was just up there the other day, I'm telling you, all the mountains around there are charred from the fire. You can even smell it inside, but they're moving forward. Last week, we had a great meeting at our San Fernando Valley chapter. We had the Consul General from Azerbaijan. How many people know anything about that country? Wow. Oh, you were at our meeting last week. That's no. We didn't really know much about it, but it's one of the, I think the only nation that borders Russia and Iran. It's a primarily Muslim nation that loves Jews, believe it or not. They have an active Jewish population there. They're very pro-Israel. And so we're going to try to get him to speak to the Canale chapter as well. It was really a really good meeting. I keep watching this whole thing with this impeachment deal. And I'm telling you, it's kind of hard to keep up with some of the nonsense, because every day it's like a new twist and a new turn. I was hearing yesterday there's an attorney for the whistleblower who, Mark Zaid, who apparently in 2017 said, the coup was started and impeachment will follow. I mean, it sounds like he's got pretty much an agenda. I can't seem to get this whole thing. We have a vice president who was in office, whose son was raking in millions of dollars. I mean, maybe even $1 billion from China while he was at the helm. And so President Trump says, I think we should look into that. So the person pointing out the corruption is the one that's being accused of a crime. And somehow we have 50% of the country that believes that? I find it hard to believe. I don't believe any of these polls that are out. I feel like I've seen this movie before. I mean, in 2016, all the polls now, well, this now, they all say, wow, Trump is losing to every single Democrat. Even like Buttigieg or what, I mean, everyone. And I just don't, do you guys believe these polls? I don't.
No, but Sean Spicer's winning.
Oh yeah, I'm Dancing with the Stars, right? Maybe that's what Donald Trump should do, is dance on Dancing with the Stars. But I'll guarantee you, I'll make a prediction. You watch as we get closer to November, you're going to see all the news outlets saying the same thing. The polls are tightening. They're getting tighter. It's closer. This movie I've seen so many times, but it continues to happen. And I just heard now that Bloomberg's getting in the race, and Eric Holder's going to get in the race. So I think I'm hearing that as a possibility. So strap yourself in. It's going to be a bumpy ride.
Michelle Obama just had a 2024 campaign move.
Michelle Obama?
2024, she had her campaign organization that got together.
Well, she'll be able to run against Nikki Haley when she runs. So, there's a lot going on, but the JRA is going to be with you every step of the way during this great adventure coming up. We're so glad that you're all here today, and now I'm going to turn you over to fellow co-founder Mitch Silverman.
Bruce, well deserved. So what was the name of the terrorist that was just killed by our wonderful forces? Anyone remember his name? Do you guys know, you ever read the Washington Compost? Did you hear what their obituary said when he died? How many of you know what they wrote? This is really important. I have it right here. They have a picture of this guy, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, a austere religious scholar at the helm of Islamic State, dies at 48. This is now I'm bringing this up for a reason, because there are people that in our lives that we know and love, family and friends, that did not vote for Donald Trump and may not. If they are hard left and they hate Israel, they love, forgive me, they love Pocahontas or Crazy Bernie, don't even bother engaging. But how many of you have people in your lives that maybe are open-minded to having a different approach in voting? How many have someone in their lives, at least someone, that they realize the severity of today's Democratic Party, they might change their minds?
I'm not sure.
Okay, so
This was done last week by our chaplain president from San Fernando Valley. These are all jokes. What would the obituaries been like for certain people? How about Lee Harvey Oswald? His obituary would have been, according to the Washington Compost, Marine, standout marksman, parade enthusiast, dead 24. How many remember Lorraine Bobbitt? Lorraine Bobbitt, pioneering 90s gender reassignment surgeon, died at 48. How about Pablo Escobar? Pablo Escobar, pharmaceutical sales rep, local politician, and loving father and husband, dead at 44. Let's see, who's this guy? Oh, Charles Manson. Noted family man, charismatic singer-songwriter, aspiring Hollywood socialite, passed away at 83. Osama bin Laden, demolition expert, internet vlogger and community leader, dies during home invasion, age 54. This last one, it pains me to read this one, given who it is. The guy who's famous for the Holocaust, I won't mention his name. Passionate leader, Time Magazine's Man of the Year, 1938. Animal lover and vegetarian, dies at the age of 56. So I bring this up for a reason. How many of you listen to talk radio pretty regularly? Okay, who are some of your favorites? Shout out loud. Dennis Prager, who else? Larry Elder. All the area speakers. Anyway, Sebastian Gorka. He wants to speak to us, he told me. Anyway, all hands on deck. The next 12 months, we're going to decide who the next president is. So if you don't think you make a difference, you do. So as I said earlier, if you have someone in your life that's hard-left, that loves Bernie or loves Warren, don't bother. But there are plenty of people that are not sure who they're going to vote for. Their preference is Democrat. But what I'm saying is, you need to start doing your part to get them to open their minds a little bit. So there's certain columnists that I would highly suggest you share articles with. Let me tell you who not to share the column. Ann Coulter, even though I like what she writes, don't bother. It's going to hurt them so much that they won't read it. But who reads Victor Davis Hanson? Okay, his articles are fantastic to forward. So I would encourage you to find articles like that or PragerU or videos. Joe Pollak is great, the head of Breitbart. My point is that when you come across articles that make good arguments about our side or the danger on the other side, that's not inflammatory, doesn't call names, it's incumbent upon you to share it with those that you think might be receptive. So just as an example, because we do need to change minds, we need to get people involved. How many of you are either a Trump supporter, fan, or lover? Okay, great, wonderful. So if someone came up to you and said, you're not going to vote for that idiot, would you say, good point, maybe I won't? No, you would actually feel insulted, and you would be even more defensive, right? Understand? It goes both ways. If you say to them, you wouldn't vote for that idiot so-and-so, they're not going to have an open mind. So one of the things you can do, I'll give you a very inflammatory example of something that actually worked well. We don't talk much about abortion because it's a very hot topic, right? There's pro-life and there's pro-choice. I was with some fraternity brothers that are very pro-choice, and we had a very easy discussion. And I said, you're pro-choice? Yeah. I said, well, how do you feel about delivering a baby, letting it sit on a table, and then waiting for it to die? And he said, oh, no, of course not. That's where your party is today. What? Yeah, that's where your party is today. So in other words, instead of attacking him, are you a baby murderer? It's not going to go anywhere. Okay, it just doesn't. So what I'm asking of you is find constructive ways to have conversations with those that are open to it, because you can change minds. How many in this room have ever changed someone from a Democrat to a Republican? I have people in my life that I've done that to, that I've changed. No, Democrat to Republican. Okay, I've done it. It can be done. Yeah. I'm going to quote my loving mother-in-law. She said, because the niche no longer has friends. She said when she was a Democrat, she was so happy. But now she gets arguments with me. Anyway, my point, yeah, so understand that the people that we love and care about, they are being spoon-fed, really, truly fake news. And so if you ask them, may I ask how you consume your news? And they say, well, in the morning I read the LA Times, then at work I put on Yahoo News, I come home and I watch ABC or NBC. What do you think they're being spoon-fed in the morning, noon, and night? So when we talk to them, they think we're out of our minds. So you can't tell them to start listening to talk radio. What are they going to say? No, you can't tell them to watch Fox News, what are they gonna say? That right-wing stuff, I'm not gonna do it. But if you find videos or articles that are not too long, they have to be brief, that can change your mind and put another thinking, you'd be astonished at how much improvement you can make. Okay? So this is it. 1 year from today, and minus a couple of days, we're going to be deciding the next president of the United States. How would you feel if it was fill in the blank of anyone left? Right? How would you feel knowing you could have done something a little bit extra to make it go our way? And one last thing. How many heard people say, or you said this yourself, that my vote doesn't count in California? Okay, I'm going to tell you why that's not correct. This is very important. For 200 and some odd years, the Electoral College was great until Hillary lost. All of a sudden, the Electoral College is terrible and we have to get rid of it, right? What was the main reason behind that? The popular vote. If everyone who was a Republican or inclined to vote Republican voted in California, by the way, California has the most registered Republicans of any state in the union. If we had all voted, you took away that argument. All of a sudden, maybe he wouldn't have gotten all 55 electoral college votes from California, but you take away the argument of popular vote. So your vote does count. It does matter. And what just happened in Virginia and in Kentucky is because a lot of people who are like us did not vote. So it really does matter. Thank you. I believe the food is ready. It is? Okay, so we're going to start.